Now we know that D.D. received his chiropractic through a spirit, as he told us, and D.D. was given words such as foramina, or the foramen, interference, and transition. And I think these are our best words in chiropractic. And also he was given another word, subluxation. And we should never, never give these words away or ever lose sight of them, because it is upon these words we have built our new philosophy, and upon which we have taken care of many people. Now, the word subluxation, probably I'll speak about that a little later. D.D. came to the conclusion that the interference was at the intervertebral foramen, or the vertebral subluxation, but he was never told that. He was just told foramina, foramen, or foramina, which is the plural, and interference. But he was never told that the spinal nerves coming out of the foramen was the cause or the interference.
Good evening, Bob Watton, Brooklyn, New York. Today I went from Queens and I did a Jersey tour starting 8 o'clock this morning. I met with my friends at the Brownstone Pancake Factory and we had a nice breakfast, and then we were talking there for a while. Then we were done eating, we kept talking, and then finally we thought, maybe we should just leave because, we're holding up the server from having our next group come in. So we go outside, and one of my friends, he just bought a pre-owned Jeep, and he wanted to show it to me. So we're standing by the Jeep, and I'm walking around it, and we end up in the front of the car. And as we're there for another hour, just talking, all of a sudden, the spot next to us opens up, and this guy pulls in, and apparently he snuck in around the other guy who was waiting for a while for that spot. So the two of them start getting in an argument, and I was saying to my friend, one of my friends, I said, maybe you want to come more towards the front of the car in case the bullets start flying. So as I said that, then I look over to see, try to see what they were, saying. And as I look, one of them had a badge. He was a cop, so he probably had a gun on him. So I just quickly thought, because we were standing there long enough, and then I just said to my friend whose car it was, I said, why don't you just move the car, why don't we leave, let him pull in, and then, he could get that spot, the guy could stay there. So they heard me say that, and the guy was like so appreciative. All of a sudden, like their tension just released, and they both were smiling. And then the guy who the cop was, he actually shook our hands, and I think he shook the guy's hand he was arguing with, who snuck in. And then the guys who snuck in, there's another guy in the car with the guy who snuck in driving. He comes out of the car, shakes my hand, that driver shakes my hand. I was thinking to myself, I should be president. I think I could solve all our problems. That's what I was thinking in that moment. I could be a diplomat. How much time do I have?
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Yeah, so then from there, I went to go visit my sister. And I went to Carrie Skorsky, a chiropractor. I went to his office, got adjusted, went to my sister, visited her, and then I rode up to Port Jervis, and then came back from Port Jervis to Self-Center meeting here.
Wow.
That was my Jersey tour for today.
All right, anyone like to ask Bob anything? Anyone? What state is Port Jervis in?
Good question. Is that still New Jersey? Because I saw a lot of New Jersey plates, but it's almost in like the triangle.
I think it's New York.
Yeah, it's like the triangle sort of in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, where it all kind of converges.
All right, well, maybe to count that one. Anyone like to ask Bob anything? Anyone? Anyone? a good story. All right, Bob, thank you. Excellent, excellent, Bob. The floor is open for whoever would like to speak. All you gotta do is just let me know. Bill Chimay.
Thank you. Phil Chimay, Kings Park, New York. Been a chiropractor 45 years. I can't believe it. Seems like yesterday. Thank you for your insights, Bob, and also Mr. Hernandez. I'm going to say Mr. Hernandez because I want to prove a point, not only to you, but to all of us, that I've come to the realization after 70 years on this planet. When you see something, okay, who's doing the observing? Person looking. When you hear something, who's doing the hearing? The person hearing. When you taste something, who's doing the tasting? Obviously the person tasting. And so forth and so on. So, when I see the universe, I give it the reality from my perspective. And so does everyone else. So how many universes are there? My father, may he rest in peace, when I was 12 years old, he said, remember, Phil, when you die, the world dies. I never knew what he meant by that, and I said, what are you talking about, Pop? Grandpa is dead, and we're still here. He says, when you get older, you'll understand. Now I understand. Not only does the world die, the entire universe dies. Because I project myself onto the universe. That's why I like broccoli. You might hate it. That's why we have different preferences. And that thing out there that we call the universe, not the universe, it's the cosmos. And the universe is what I project onto the cosmos. So that thing that is turning, it's turning towards me. So in the 15th century, when the Catholic Church proclaimed that man was the center of the universe, everybody, what are you talking about? The scientists today. You know, we're not, you know, the center, the actual center. No matter where you go, you're the center. That's right. But they meant it's not literally the actual juxtaposition. We are the actual center of the universe. They're talking about wherever you are, there is the center. So this universe is revolving around you, Mr. Hernandez. It's revolving around me. Now, when I die, my universe that's revolving around me dies. When you die, your universe dies. So how many universes are there? Over 8 billion, and that's just human beings. There's a universe for every single sentient being, including those amoebas. Anything that can feel, say, sense, anything has a consciousness, has a universe. So there are trillions of universes. And so that's how important each one of us. So I have created you in my universe. You have created me in your universe. And so there is the co-creation, the one with the divine and the one with man. That's why God needed man to name the animals. We give this cosmos the meaning, and in turn, it revolves around us. This is how important every single person on this planet is. So don't let anyone tell you you're a small, insignificant cog in the machinery of life. Nonsense. Without you, life ceases.
Anyone like to ask Phil anything? Anyone? Anyone? It's echoing for you guys.
You have to mute it.
Someone has to mute themselves. I think. Nancy, you have two things up.
Yeah, Nancy, you're on twice.
You're on twice.
Can she hear us?
Wait. We're gonna throw the text.
Hey, Sora.
There.
Sorry,
Nancy, can you hear us?
Okay.
I just muted Nancy.
Nancy, can you hear us, Nancy?
She's saying yes.
Alright. Let me hear you say something, Nancy, just
I
to make sure.
can't, I just muted
Oh,
her.
you just muted her, alright.
Well, let's see if she feeds back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we're good. Alright, we're good. We just had to, okay, so would anyone like to ask Phil Chimay anything? You just had to settle the technical issues. Anyone? Bob Watton.
You mentioned life. What did you say? Life dies when the person dies?
Phil, can you give your father's quote again?
No, he told me when I was 12, remember, when you die, the world dies. To which I asked, well, Grandpa died, how come we're still here? And he said, when you get older, you'll understand. And then I came to the awareness, not only does the world die, the entire universe dies, meaning my universe.
Yeah.
Your universe keeps going. Everybody else's universe keeps going. But there's over 8 billion universes just for humanity, not counting the animals and viruses and amoebas and everything else. So that's how important we are. So don't let anybody tell you anything different.
Alright, Bob, do you want to ask him anything from that?
No, it's all right because
You got it? Alright, anyone else like to ask Phil anything? Anyone? Alright then, we'll clap for Phil. Thank you very much. Alright, the floor is open. Whoever would like to speak. You guys spoke here. Anyone from the Zoom world? You don't have to, but you have the opportunity. Anyone from the Zoom world going again? We have Alex, Nancy, and Tori. I don't even know if Alex is there.
I'm here.
All right. So does anyone? If you don't, no one has to speak. I mean, if not, then I'm going to go. Because would anyone else like to speak?
Can I speak again?
No.
Okay.
Nancy, you go. There you go, Phil. Good job. You got her motivated.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, because I was hearing double. I thought I was having a hallucination here.
You were.
Just to share with everybody, I've been doing meditation group once a month in my chiropractor's office, and it's been really a very deep and moving and meaningful experience for everybody. It's just made me really ponder the significance of what a chiropractor's office really means to people as a place of healing, not just the adjustment, but the whole of it. And you've heard me say chiropractic office is Noah's Ark, and I really feel that more and more in today's world. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay. Anyone like to ask Nancy anything? Nancy, could you say that quote again about the Noah's Ark so I can hear it again?
No, just that a chiropractor's office is like Noah's Ark.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Would anyone else like to ask Nancy anything? Anyone?
Nancy, could you expand on that, please?
Yeah. I don't know, Alex, what expand means, but I could talk more about it. I did a basic healing meditation with people. There were about 8 people there. Brought food, brought juice, basic healing meditation, and this time we made healing mandalas where they colored mandalas and then meditated on that. And it was all about inner peace, finding inner peace. And I think that's what people are really looking for now, given that the world is so chaotic and unpredictable. And, you know, these are people who've never meditated before. They're kind of alienated from organized religion per se, and see the chiropractic office as a spiritual place, but doesn't kind of have words around it. So, you know, we do it kind of from an interfaith perspective. I tell them I'm Jewish and I'm an interfaith minister, and that this is not a religious experience. This is really about finding peace within yourself and praying for peace in the world. And everybody relates to that. And, you know, we pray for the chiropractor's office, for Christina's office, that it be a place of healing for everybody who comes in. We pray that all kinds of light and healing and love fills the place. And many of these people, you know, they're working, they're between taking care of kids and a job and a hectic life, and to have an hour and a half or 2 hours just to sit and do this once a month, it's just been very meaningful. I'm very touched at how deeply people appreciated it. And they keep coming back, so that's good. We've done it 3 months, we plan it. Now the next time will be after Mother's Day.
All right. Anyone else want to ask Nancy anything? Anyone? One more time, anyone? All right, Nancy, gracias. Thank you very much. The floor is open if anyone else would like to speak. One more time. All right, then. I'll go. I'm going to turn this around. I already wrote something. Save a little time for ourselves. I'll put those markers in the back. All right. So Brian Patrick Horton, chiropractor, Jersey City, New Jersey. I'll get to that in a moment, what I have written up there. So I just have to, very few notes here. You know, there's an old saying, it's not the load that kills you, it's thinking about the load that kills you. Now, this current system that we live in, to me, seems to be designed to make everyone just think about having a load on them and constantly having people worried and in fear and thinking about what if this happens, what if that happens, suppose this, suppose that, just in keeping people in a constant state of fear. Now, I showed that video of Pasquale speaking, and he was talking, you know, D.D. Palmer got chiropractic from the spiritual realm. And Pasquale got some further information on this, and from that video he spoke about the 4 things he was told from the spiritual realm. Foramen, I'm talking about D.D. Palmer was told. Foramen, interference, transition, and subluxation. So he says that D.D. Palmer took those words to mean that the interference is he called it vertebral subluxation, and that comes from the interference from the nerves exiting the foramen. I'm going to get back to those words in just a moment. I saw Pasquale, I think we all have, but I personally know I saw Pasquale go through a metamorphosis. Meta means beyond, morph means form. To me, it's like this system. I saw Pasquale literally change, and he was done with this system, but he did it while he was still here with us. And he went through a lot to do that, but he did it. And he did that by being committed. And the word commit, C-O-M, means thoroughly, and it's from another word, M-I-T-T-E-R-E, which means to send. And he sent himself through this whole, through that metamorphosis, he sat himself through it thoroughly, and he did all of it. And in order for me to think about doing these things, to go through that I have to be committed. And in order for me to do that, I have to surrender. S-U-R means over, R-E means back, and then from Latin, D-A-R-E means to give. So it's like, I'm really giving just that one thing back to God, which is love. That's the only really thing that I can give, the only thing I have. So, by jumping out of the system and thinking about things differently, thinking about these words foramen, interference, transition, and subluxation differently. Foramen as a whole could also mean a window. Interference means to strike between. Transition means across. And subluxation, sub means under, lux means light. You put an N in here and it means nation, the nation under the light. So the way I look at it is, so then why did chiropractic come here? And some people say, well, it came here as a healing art to help people heal themselves. And I've heard Pasquale mention this, and Phil Chimay last month mentioned this. It did not come here as for your health, primarily as to be for a healing art. So then why did it come here? It came here for our spiritual progression. So what does that mean, our spiritual progression? I really think it means to help us realize chiropractic helps us to get rid of all these stumbling blocks, all these things in front of us, so we can finally just see God right there before us and know that's who we are and start to act that way and start to act by God's rules, not these crazy rules that this world has, this system has been living by. And someone asked Pasquale about, you keep talking about this system, and he says, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of the system. The way even our bodies are working is wrong. Our anatomy has to change. Those things inside of us that we don't need to go away. We have to know what they are. And the things that inside of us that need to waken up for us to function, to be one with God, we need to notice them, recognize them, and then work with them and allow them to grow inside of us. So how does all this tie together as a chiropractor? I'm really not sitting here, I certainly don't do health talks. I don't even want people, I don't even think about those things anymore. I just think about, this can help this person feel safe to be committed to send themselves through their metamorphosis completely. And it helps them surrender. And by doing that, it's a really good thing. And I notice that the less that I don't talk about the people, I don't talk about this stuff, I don't talk about the nervous system, I don't show them any photos, any of the nervous, or any of those things. I don't want to deal with that anymore. And if people want to do that, that's their business, but me, I don't. I stopped doing that years ago. So for me as a chiropractor, I'm realizing I can sense that these people want to make these changes, and I just work with them. And yes, they do have things caught up in their body because it's going to come out in different ways. It's like there's a white light going through people, and their fear and anger and stuff stops it. And that's really what's making them sick, that buildup of this thing, because they're not allowing to express themselves. So as a chiropractor, allowing these people to allow that white light to shine, allow all these things they don't need to leave themselves, to allow themselves to these things we need inside of us that have to awaken, to allow them that to happen. There's the metamorphosis, and then you're going to start seeing peace on earth because more people have peace inside of them. And then that's how we change the world, by changing ourselves one person at a time. So that's what I have to say this evening. Does anyone want to ask me anything? Nancy Brown.
I'm so glad I got on. Brian, do people come to you with medical questions, symptoms that they think, like, do I have this, do I have that? And if they do, how do you handle it?
Oh, Jackie, don't touch that. A lot of people ask me that, but I just say, look, I always like to ask people things. How do you think this happened? And it makes them start to think about their lives and maybe what it is they're going through and what they've been up to. And once they start thinking about that, I said, okay, whatever it is they tell me, I said, all right. I said, how about we focus on you just being better? And let's just start with that. And then if we want to talk about these other things down the road, we can talk about it. If we just focus on you getting better, I think you'll notice these things will start to go away. If they keep coming in, and some people ask me deeper questions about the spiritual stuff, I'll get into that too. But if they just want to talk about their symptoms, once I ask them that, it does kind of snap them out of that, trying to blame this or blame that. It makes them realize why they're in the situation they're in, and I go from there. Wherever it is they're at. And I have various ways to handle that, depending on what they really want to talk about. And some people just want to come meet me once or twice, they feel better and they go away, and that's fine too. And some want to keep coming in. Anyone else want to ask me anything? Who's that, Phil? All right, go ahead,
Yeah,
Phil.
Brian, thank you, it was great. Quick question, could you elaborate a little further on what you were saying, like, it wasn't said here to what? Get rid of the world, but the system? Something
No,
like
no,
that?
what, about chiropractic, or?
Yeah,
No, I said chiropractic did not come here as, for health problems.
no, that I know, but you said something about the world and the system.
Oh,
That it,
I was at a meeting, I listened to it, someone asked Pasquale, you keep talking about this system. And she's like, are you talking about the end of the world? He said, no, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of the system that we're in.
oh, okay.
And chiropractic,
That's my question.
yeah, chiropractic helps you get out of the thought process of that you're stuck in this system. It allows you to connect yourself to God, then you'll recognize, I don't have to live this way anymore, the way they've been living.
Yeah.
That's how I
Okay,
get it.
that was my confusion, because here's my question.
Sure.
Are you aware that the word world actually means system?
No,
It
I didn't
doesn't
know
mean-
that.
Yeah, the third or fourth definition, world means obviously the earth.
Yeah.
People refer to the earth. But the actual word world means how it's run, a system is run, like the Roman world, their system of laws and everything else. Obviously the capitalistic system or world. So you're right, he's right. It does mean the end of the world, the system that we're in right now,
Yeah.
not the earth.
That's
Not the
correct.
earth.
They're two different things.
Right, the earth and world are two different things.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to ask me anything? Bob Watton.
You know, when Pasquale was talking about all these changes that are gonna happen, I don't know if he ever was talking about this technocratic system that they're trying to put in. But how does that play into, you know, the spiritual manifestation versus the technological artificial intelligence?
What I sense, you're looking at desperation. You're looking at a desperate attempt to hang on to something that they know they've lost. It's like there's a certain group that would like to see things not change. And it's a desperate attempt, especially in the last 6 years, to keep people doing anything they possibly can than looking inside themselves. It's just to keep them thinking about another load on top of them. They're going to die from this. You're going to die from that. This isn't healthy. That's not healthy. Blah, 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 blah. So to me, it's just a desperate attempt. But it doesn't matter because it's too late. We've already won. And more people that go to the chiropractors, even the chiropractor's not even thinking about this, as long as they're just thinking about helping the person, you're going to see people. But now I think more and more chiropractors, it's harder for them to make their money the way they've been doing. And they're trying all these hustles, they want to brand themselves and this, that, and the other thing. And it's getting harder and harder. And I think some of them will just go away, and that's fine. But some of them who really want to help people, I think they're going to hold on. We'll have more chiropractors really into helping people find themselves. So I think if anything, this push, there's a group of people who will believe anything that they hear from the TV or whatever, or media. So if that's their business, I'm not going to run after them. And I really think people are waking up. And chiropractic, I sense chiropractic is getting stronger every single day. Because I see it here in the office, I see it in people, and I see these changes. And for these people who want to keep it the way it was, it's too late, it's over. So and some people, I just say, look, it's desperation, just focus on yourselves and your family. So that's how I answer that. Would anyone else like to ask me anything? Tony. Nancy Brown. Go ahead, you can ask me as many things you want.
Okay, so Pasquale was talking about, when we used to come there, he would talk about what was going to happen. The system would collapse.
Yes.
We're in the system collapse now. So Pasquale was kind of giving us a heads up big time that was coming and what the role of chiropractic might be in the future. And what I'm learning from my South Florida vantage point right now is that there's all these different groups doing different kinds of things in chiropractic, including themselves chiropractors. They're not doing what Self-Center is doing, that I grew up with. And people personally are saying to me, you know, you can't be 75 years old. How did you get to be this way? I said, I've been getting adjusted since I'm 27, you know. So I'm the perfect example, but what I'm seeing around is almost like a corporatization, if that's the word,
That's a
of
good word.
chiropractic, where it's becoming like, this is the way you do your business, and that's how you do your business. They're not looking at God within the person, within the experience of love. And so the question is, Pasquale said this was all going to collapse, and it is. And we're seeing that, and it's frightening to some people. And the question for me is now, what's the vision for the future? Like, where are we going with this?
Well,
So you've contemplated that?
Yeah, well, to give a quick review, the one thing Pasquale spoke about is that chiropractic came here directly from the spiritual realm, and D.D. Palmer took that, and he served Harvey Lillard, and saw wonderful results immediately, and whoever he worked on, he saw these results. And then I truly believe D.D. was about to unload. This is purely a spiritual thing, but the world wasn't ready for it, so he had to go when he passed away. And then after that, things started to change. And then you started to notice down the road, chiropractors got caught up. They wanted to be licensed, which were usually, he called them just shackles and handcuffs, making things harder. And they got caught up in insurance. Then they got caught up in that. That made things a little bit harder. Then they got caught up in all these, what do they call it, like practice management groups or coaches that tell you how to run your office. And it's become where a lot of business people are just look at chiropractic as a business and not as a spiritual thing to help people through their spirituality. And those people who are just looking at it's harder and harder for them to make money, they're just going to go away. So I personally don't think about them. I recognize, I'm sure they're nice people, but even if they're not, it's over, so I don't even focus on them. As far as what's going to happen, the one thing Pasquale said, he said, we're going to live in peace. And that's all I can focus on, just being myself, living in peace, and this spreading love to every single person I come across. And I noticed by doing that, more and more people are going to start to do that. And that's how I look at it. I can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like because I don't know. But if I do that, at least I'm doing my part for myself. Anyone else want to ask me anything? It's a wonderful time to be a chiropractor. Phil?
So you see a bright future for your son, Jack?
Yes, I do.
Good.
Better than the times that I grew up in.
Good.
Anyone else like to ask me anything? If someone raise their hand, then you guys tell me so I can look straight ahead. One more time. Anyone else?
Yes.
Jackie, what do you want to ask me?
Pig.
Pig. Okay. Jackie, what noise does a pig make? Oh my goodness. Anyone else like to ask me anything? That's it, folks. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.